bit there. Has hit the 8 full in the face. That's not going to help.
Well, he is moving the cue ball quite a lot, though. Which is not the advice you would give any player, to move the cue ball around the table with especially this kind of open layout. Now, though, this should be okay to still leave himself angle on the 4 to drop down table, so it's okay. Unless he got himself straight there, Gath.
If he has, he's really going to need to put a shot on this. Yeah, he's going to leave himself the thin cut. May be able to run the cue ball into the 8 to take the energy out of it, so he doesn't need to go running back up and down the table. Oh, was able to bring it back. Played that nicely, Tim.
Well, looks like the Martian is up for a battle. Pulling one back to the 1. Will be breaking. Would like to see him put a little bit more onto the break, though. But maybe that's also what he's planning to do, so let's see what happens.
Well, on a few occasions, Tim, we have seen players second ball breaking with great effect. I'm just wondering if a player isn't able to put in some extra power, they might have to switch it around a bit. Having a look at the statistics here, not really too much to report back on yet as it's early doors, but one interesting note sticking out straight away is Pius's 100% break success and 6 balls pocketed per inning, and that's if he can keep that up, it's really going to put it against Kwok here. Having a look around the arena, it's starting to fill up, Tim. Let's see how Kwok fares with his break now. Race to 8, trailing 2 racks to 1.
Yeah, going from the side, but then again, nothing finding a way. And first look at the table, bit messy over the left side of the 8. Not impossible, though. Still has the option too to either go solids or stripes.
Yeah, there were lots of balls moving, Tim. Just nothing dropping. There's an easy stripe as an opener for Labutis here, but if he wants to go solids, as he's looking at here, he's got the red 3 and also the long 6 in this corner at the bottom of the screen. It looks like he likes solids.
Yeah, just gotta make sure to land on the 4 ball as soon as possible to maybe get to the 2.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of traffic around it as well. He's just come to have another inspection. Right now, that 2's got to go in the left side pocket.
Extension.
But we have seen that Pierce is more than happy to maneuver a ball or 2 on the table. Straight away, Tim, look at this.
Well, he did land great on the 4. I think he can go forward, nudge the 10, or at least run the cue ball softly into the 10, opening up the 8 as well, being on the 2 or the 5 ball.
Yeah, and as long as he can stay towards the left side of the 5, he'll have natural angle to come round for the 6. It's more about if he wants to take the 1 out before or after. Oh, he's gone this way. That would suggest he's looking at taking the 1 after the 2, but a little shake of the head. I still think he can draw into the 14 ball.
Yeah, I like that. Just gonna make sure that he's gonna be on the 1 ball.
Yeah, and there's a big gap for him to put the cue ball in here to finish on the 6. It's all about 6 to the 8 ball. Or is it? He's elected to go 6-1.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting him to play that kind of pattern, but maybe the 6 being so low and the 8 not going into the center changed his mind.
One thing I will say, Tim, as he takes this 8 ball and a 3-1 lead, is that he is, I don't know if it's the music and it's his style of music, Tim, but he's really getting in a lovely rhythm, and his sort of sub 10-second shots, the shot clock is not really going to come into play with him if he keeps it in that sort of rhythm. Clearly feeling that he's dialed in. His player overall performance backing that up, 9-4-1. And on the other tables, I mentioned that on our table 2, it's the matchup between Wojciech Szewczak and Hayden Ernst. Wojciech still maintaining a lead, 2 racks to 1 there. And on our table 3, Sanjin Palovanovic leading 3-2 over Oliver Solnocki. And our 4th live stream match for you on Pro Billiard TV, Ivica Putnik is tied at 1 apiece with Konrad Jajishin. And there are a few other matches going on. I'll keep an eye on them scores as they're coming in. You may hear a couple of applauses in the background. That will be because table 2's right next to us, and, well, it will be Hayden Ernst and a bit of home support, I would fancy. So, Labutis to break, gets his lead back, 3-1. And I have to say, I like that break, Tim. Solid, good cue ball, kept a lot of energy going into that pack. And I believe he's made 2.
Yeah, hit that break a lot more square than he did last time. In this way, he's taking a very strong start against Wang. I mean, I told you, I'm not too sure how much 8-ball Wang has played, but I'm not really getting the opportunity to watch him play either.
And also, in the run-out that he made off the mistake of Pace, he was, as you suggested, just having to move the cue ball, or deciding to move the cue ball a lot more than maybe the average 8-ball player would play in that situation. You know, moving the cue ball around with traffic on the table can bring the odd mistake.
Well, and also, it was for him the first real opportunity in this match, so maybe he still has to get back into stroke. He's getting some chair time as we speak.
Extension.
He was just looking at the 7 dressed up next to the 8. You look.
Yeah, just gotta make sure he plays this with enough left spin to avoid sticking the cue ball with the 9. Both quick players, so I don't think there are going to be any struggles regarding the shot clock.
No, not so far. I wonder if we've got our man Michael Salmon in the stat room on how many extensions have been called, because I'm not too sure one has been called as of yet. And we're now into our 6th rack. Piers Labutis leading 4 racks to 1 in this race to 8. The other matches that are going on in this losers first round bracket, we've got Louis Lemieux is 2-2 against Lee Van Cortesa. Arseny Sevastianov is trailing 2 racks to 3 against Dominic Zastrab. And Ruslan Chinnikov is trailing 1 rack to 3 against the German Marco Spitzky, who has been putting in some great performances as of late. Now, if you were Duong here, Tim, you've been sat in your chair, your opponent is breaking very well. Are you really expecting to get too many opportunities unless you can start to hold your own break?
Well, I'm actually considering a timeout at this point. I mean, it might be a bit negative, but you can see your opponent is breaking the balls well, and he's making balls on the break, running out almost from everywhere. So maybe time to slow your opponent down, who knows. It's still early though, it's a race to 8. This way. Ooh, look at this. Balls flying in everywhere. But the cue ball included.
Yeah, that stripe rubbed it in the top left corner. As you look from the overhead here on the replay, nearly made both balls into either side pocket. But that 11 ball, but what it has left is a little cluster there. I'm not too sure if them 2 stripes are on in the way that they've dressed up.
You see, after the break, if you scratch on the break, you'll have to play from the box, the kitchen we call. You have to shoot. At least, have to leave the kitchen at least. And with 3 balls dropping into the break, he's got plenty of space to move the cue ball.
Put a bit of a stroke on that, got the cue ball out center table. It's just what he needed to do here now. I'm not necessarily a fan of taking the 4 on into the side pocket here, Tim. But that pocket at the bottom left of our screen, the top left pocket, seems quite big with where the 9 is.
Well, he did put himself right behind it, so in that case I'm not too afraid of this 4 ball. Would have been a different story if he left himself more angle.
And as you said, both players pretty nimble on their feet. Other matches that kicked off at the same time, some of them are only in their 2nd rack. These gentlemen, well, they're in a different gear. This 8 ball to bring Kwok Hwang back to 4-2, and more importantly, I would have to say for him, he gets the opportunity to break, and well, as we've both alluded to, Tim, he's going to need to start getting a bit more from his break, because Labutis is going to pounce on any of his mistakes, and with a 0% break success so far, he's going to need to do something about that.
Yeah, at least he's closing the gap. And so many matches I also seen that eventually the break will be starting to work. Players are always going to find something, but for one player it takes a couple breaks, and for others it takes sometimes an hour to find a way.
Well, I mentioned in my introduction, Tim, they met last year. It was the quarter-final of one of the European Opens, and it was a great match. Labutis win in 10-6, so they do have a bit of history, and I can't imagine Duong will have forgotten about it as of yet. And as I say that, he's made a ball off the break, Tim.
And it looked like there's only one cluster on the table, which he could take on right now. Start off with the 14-2 combination. If he wants to be the solids, could also use the 10 to get to the short side of the 14 in case he would want to have the stripes. But in that case, he would have to start with probably the cut on the 12, so maybe he can play the combination and draw the cue ball back for the 1. One ball in the top right corner.
Nice view of...
What did he give himself?
The 1 passes, by the looks of it, into the bottom left pocket, bottom right over the overhead. But it's a little bit into a blind pocket of sorts. And I was about to say, Tim, PS came out the blocks looking absolutely formidable, pouncing on a dry break and then a break and run. But that just poor positioning shot which got him in trouble. And look at how the scoreline has shifted. We've got Duong in good position here to bring the scoreline back to just 1. And it did look like he could have taken a very handsome 5-1 lead. Okay, he has left this 5 into the side pocket if he just wanted to float through for the 6. Would like to do it off the 3.
Yeah, does like to let the stroke out. That's definitely one of his qualities. Gets the ball so smooth.
Yeah, I thought he may have hampered himself there with cueing, where the cue ball landed in front of the 8, but he didn't. Was able to just draw back gently. Great shape on the 5 now. And this, well, this would really give him a boost of confidence with the bringing the scoreline back to within 1.
Yeah, mentally playing a strong match. I mean, this is a loser round 1 match. The loser of this match will be out of the tournament. And then to find yourself down so early on in the match could really get you into trouble. Maybe mentally, you know, start to feel the heat a little bit. But both players, well, a 913 for Duong Quoc Hang and 930 for Piers Labutis. So strong match by both.
And while we look at the stats, if any of our viewers are keen to be able to get their own insights, you can bring the stats up live. If you do visit ProBilliardSeries.com and just scroll down a little underneath the links to the draws, you will see live stats. And when a match kicks off on our 2 commentated live stream channels, Table 1 and 2, well, our man Michael Salmon will start keeping them stats up to date, and I really do like a good look at them. Now, Duong trailing 4 racks to 3, race to 8. Not this time. Labutis out of his chair.
And this is what I mean, like on this break, I feel like he's hit it perfect, nice and square, good pop, but he's just not putting that little oomph on the break there. But like, just a bit more.
I love that word, a little bit more oomph. Yeah, I certainly know what you mean, and I'm sure many, if not all of our viewers understand that. The only problem for me, Tim, when I put a little bit more oomph on it, I tend to lose the cue ball more often than not. And there's that fine line. Now, Labutis has taken stripes.
Well, I do like to think I'd rather lose the cue ball and give myself a higher chance of making a ball than having a dry break with a perfect cue ball on the table. So, I mean, there's always 2 sides for the coin, I guess.
No, you're right. The winner's mentality. I love it. And we should all be taking notes from that. Just a good look at our referee for this, Dave Pearson. I mentioned he's from Amarillo, Texas, but it feels like he's just based at every event we have. Everyone loves him. He's fantastic. And the hours these guys put in, we really do appreciate it. Now, will this be the first time Labutis has taken his extension? I've never heard a beep on his server, so to speak. No, no extension called. What's he having a look at here?
Well, I kind of like taking the 14 out as soon as possible just to open up the corner for the 10. So 14-9, go up, but that means he will have to either go from the 11 or the 10 to the 8, and that's probably the reason why he's taking a bit more time to make a better plan, better route. I mean, could maybe go off the 14, 11, 10, and then go from the 9 to the 8.
Ooh, yeah. That camera angle was a bit deceiving. Looked like he'd hit that into the long rail first. In fact, it was perfect. Now, a little bit of a better angle to hold for the 9. Didn't want to. So
yeah, I don't mind going to the 8 ball from the 9 instead of from the 10. But he's left himself a bit more angle on the 10, so he's choosing to run around the 5 just to spread out the pace a little bit. No, played a cheeky bit of inside on that. Just got to be careful not to run into the 4, wouldn't be on the 8, or to play just straight over and land funny with the 3 ball. But then again, he's perfect on the 8. So he's breaking Wang's momentum in this rack, and he'll be breaking. He's been very successful on his break so far as well.
Yeah. Could be a costly dry break as Pierce jumps on it and starts to get his lead back, looking a bit healthier. Kwok was really threatening to get back up to level, and that would have made a very interesting match for us. As of now, the boot is just starting to reassert the authority that he put in at the start of the match. We're hearing some good applauses coming from across the table next to us, and that's the match between Wojciech Szewczak, who's leading 4-2 against the young American Hayden Ernst. And just a quick fire update on the other stream tables that we're bringing to you. Table 3, Sanjin Palavanovic trailing 3-4 against Oliver Zolnocki. And Ivica Putnik is leading 3-1 against the Polish player Konrad Jashishin. And if you want to find all them scores, please do visit ProBilliardsSeries.com and you'll get all the links to the events. We have 4 events here in St. Louis, Missouri. One of them's already completed, our Banks event, an absolute fantastic final. If you want to go back on Pro Billiard TV later on and watch, I would suggest you do. It was very, very thrilling. And we have, of course, this Men's World 8-Ball Championship underway. Also, the Saberts Women's Open, which will follow on after this. And later on this evening, we will continue with the Poison Mixed Doubles Open. We're on day 4 of 8. There's our schedule of events. Snapshot that. And yeah, today and 4 more days of action, Tim.
Yeah, so it looks like Kwok Hang has taken his time out, so looks like Gethin Davis and myself, Tim Druiter, we're going to take a short break as well. We'll be right back after the break.
Hey, Tim.
And a warm welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this second slice of the losers' first round bracket of the Yalin WPA Men's 8-Ball World Championships. This is the matchup between Dong Kwok Hwang and Piers Labutis. Piers leading 5 racks to 3 in this race to 8. My name's Gethin Davis. Back in the box with me, Tim de Ruiter.
Yeah, Piers to break the balls has been successful, but did get some time in the seat to maybe start overthinking on the break, and well, chance for Hwang, so a successful timeout you could say. What does it look like? I think a cluster for solids on the top side of the table, the 5 and the 2. No other solids near those 2 balls, so that gives me a feeling I would like to go stripes. But then near the bottom, it's not like the 11 and the 9 are laying Much easier as well.
No, the 1 and the 4 ball are spoiling the party down at that end of the table, and yes, I can imagine Duong is going to just take a little bit of time over this.
Well, sometimes I kind of like the option to play something aggressive, cut this 10 in, maybe just run the cue ball into the 11, you know, rearrange the furniture, just blast the balls open, because I mean, was he trying to get on the 14? Would you think so?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm guessing he was looking to come low on it so he could have, as you said, rearranged the furniture and come into the 9 perhaps and make something work.
Even to run into the 11 from where he was, I think would have worked. So, I mean, I'm not going to say he missed the trick, but he's definitely fallen funny here. And now the problem is laying near the bottom side of the table, and he knows if he goes to the 12 right now, he can pick those couple balls up table, but he's never really going to get back to the bottom again. So he's tried to develop them. But PS does have a shot on the 4.
Yeah.
Will he maybe leave himself an angle on the 1 to run into the 2 and the 5?
Well, there's quite a gap. If you look on this camera angle, there seems to be a gap between the 2, but I also like the combination, and he may be playing for that straight away, Tim.
Well, it looked quite off angle. Now, the good news is the 5 ball is pretty close to the rail, so it does have a little bit margin of error. Could catch a rail first or a bit thicker and it still slides in. But it's very missable. And also, we'll have to hold the cue ball for shape on that same 2 ball.
Yeah, I can't see him being able to play for another ball on the table. Oh.
I just don't think that was a easy shot by any means.
If it had left the 5 over the pocket, that may have helped. But as you see there, I'm not too sure. It's a big gap. But he's called it. Yeah, and that was my fear. But that also was my fear with Kwok's shot in his last run here in this rack. He didn't cover a pocket, and I felt he left Labutis in with a great chance. So now, a bit of a reversal.
Yeah, everything should be quite lined up. Could be floating his 13 in, playing the 11 in the corner or in the center. No, he's not going to float anything. He likes that full stroke, does he?
He does, and this is very nice now. Stop shot for the 9, and really another stop shot for the 14.
Well, interesting. Where is he going to play the 8? Maybe one of the top corners?
Well, he has a beautiful 14 ball just to drop in and come underneath it. Of course, he wouldn't want to finish flat on it, but the 8 really only has the top left available unless he wants to take a side pocket on. Or is there a big pocket near the 5?
I gotta say, I kind of feel like that's a bit of a tricky shot to play in the top right. It looks like he's playing this, but I don't think he can pocket it clean. So that means you will have to intentionally bank it off the 5 in the corner. So he's gonna purposely play the 8 into the rail, just like this, and he's hung the 8.
Yeah, I think he just came a bit too high up on that long rail. I think the shot was on, Tim, like you said, just needed to catch the long rail just before it, as you see there, a little bit later down that long rail. And I think the 8 would have dropped. He played it at a good pace, and advantage back to Labutis. You mentioned earlier, a couple of racks back, when we were discussing the Martian, and you brought up taking a time out, and also after the timeout, you also alluded to the fact that it may work and be beneficial. Do you think that that's something that these players are very conscious of in regards to just disrupting momentum and trying to upset the apple cart when it's not going your way?
I think you have to consider everything at this extremely high level. But, I mean, I don't think they're doing it with like a unsportsmanlike kind of feeling to it, more as a strategy kind of base. I think it's the only way at this level to be able to compete, because everybody at this level can run out, everybody can play well, so you got to make a difference somewhere.
Yeah, it's interesting. My concern would be trying to turn momentum around early on in a match, and then the match going on and needing actually a real toilet break further down the line.
Yeah, well, that is actually a good point. But for myself, I just told myself, whenever I'm down 3, 4, 5 games, I just like to take that time out. I just think overall it's a good plan.
No, that's why I brought it up, and it's something that maybe can be overlooked by players, especially you don't really have the opportunity in your league situation to just take timeouts, or I guess you can, but it's not something as official in tournaments on the world stage like here in Missouri.
Well, I mean, on the other side, there's players that do not take these timeouts because they're not even worried when they're 4-0 down. They're not worried at all by that point. So, for example, people that like to play, I mean, there's so-called gamblers, people that play for high stakes, long sets. Well, they're not too phased by being down 4-0. So they're not going to take a break at that point. Well, if you've always been playing these kind of sets and you go play a tournament, you can be down 5-0 and feel like, well, I can still win this. So then the only reason it would be, if you would want to do it, the only reason is to slow your opponent down.
Yeah, no, it's good, and yeah, really something to think about. It's only really since I've been commentating with you that it's something that I've really been thinking about, and again, you brought it up in this match when it really looked like Kwok was going to get into a 5-1 deficit. He did pull it around, but then did take the break. Pierce now with his break, and again. Try, Tim.
Yeah, was breaking really well on the beginning of the match, and this time he's hit it nice and square. Again, I feel like he's really putting a lot into it, so you cannot really tell me he's breaking soft. But, I mean, the balls dictate whether you continue, yes or no.
Well, Kwok has had a good look. There are options, an easy stripe over the corner pocket, but at the moment that would be hampering the 3 somewhat. And that 2 ball just sat on the long rail, the blue 2 at the bottom of the screen. That may help sway his decision making here. Did he call the 5? Oh no, he didn't call the 5.
Well, it looked for a second he was going to shoot the 13. But then again, why would you start with the 13 if you've got the 10 hanging over the corner? I believe it's the 10.
he certainly feels that's his path to success.
Well, it does bring him onto the 12 very early, which is nice to take that 12 out of the way as soon as possible. As you can see, 12 was going to be tied by the 2 in the center. Get the 15. I don't think it has a full corner either. Now you've got the 10 hanging over the corner. Take a risk and run into the 11. You know, maybe push the balls just that little bit you need. Oh, wow. How did he go in between, go 2 rails, and not manage to hit either the 11, the 15, or the 7? Look at this.
Oh, wow.
He's actually only moved the 4 ball, which, well, he didn't really need to. Like, it's not like he's benefiting a lot from moving the 4, so a bit of a tough roll. And now we'll have to chase a very difficult run out from this point. I mean, I truly want him to run out so we have a closer match, but slowly this rack is becoming more and more of an obstacle for him.
Yeah, and where the 7 ball is, he's going to be conscious of what he needs to do to get shape on that. Oh, as you look from this angle, Tim, oh, there may be half a pocket, but it looks a bit too tight for me.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan either, which means maybe he'll have to play for a short side on the 12, and he's landed with the wrong angle on the 14, so big low left stroke around the 1.
Oh, how's his pace?
How is he gonna land? How is he gonna land? Needs a bit of a nudge. And now the big question is, does it go by the 4? I'm afraid it doesn't. But that little nudge on the 15 might have pushed it over to where he is now able to play it by the 7.
That's a good point, Tim. I was actually thinking about his shot earlier where he missed everything but the 4. And I'm wondering if he pushed that in the way to hamper him. But as you said, yeah, it looks like that will now pass the 7. Oh, and he's made that lovely shot into the side pocket. That's very nicely done. Needs to be particular with the 8 here. The 8 doesn't have the bottom right pocket. Is he looking just to gently roll this in? Oh, he's rolling into it. That's worked out rather nicely indeed. And you may get what you were looking for here, Tim.
Well, with all due respect, I'm actually flabbergasted that he still ran out from that point. At some point, I just couldn't imagine him getting out from there, but yet he did. He is truly a Martian.
I was about to say, the Martians won some fans here in the American audience. Probably one of the biggest cheers I've heard of the day, and that's something to be said, bearing in mind Hayden Ernst is playing on the other table. Just have a quick look at the scores over there, actually. Wojciech Szewczak is leading 6 racks to 2. And over on our other stream tables, table 3, Oliver Zolnocki now taking a 6-4 lead over Sanjin Pelovanovic, turning around a deficit there. And we also have Ivica Putnik 4-2 up on Konrad Zhishishin. And what I will also be doing is I'll be bringing you a little update. Following this, we will be kicking off more of our Seybert's Women's Open. And it looks like the fixtures have come in for the next round there. So I'll try and bring you an update as and when we see opportunity to. But back to this exciting situation we find. Duong on the comeback, trailing 6 racks to 4 with the break. And with a good bit of home support, it seems.
Well, he's put a bit more into it, honestly. I mean, actually, he's been spreading the balls more, but his results on the break have been very disappointing. Look at that 2 ball hanging up on him as well. It's just brutal. And I think the solids are all wide in the open.
Yeah, I was just looking at the end of the replay there. I was wondering if the 3 was hampered, but it's not. A little tricky cluster if he wanted to go stripes down there in the bottom right of our screen. But if he can go solids, he may be well pushed to play the 3 now. And leave himself decent enough shape on that 2 that did miss the side pocket. I don't think the 2 is available for the side. If it is, then he'll probably come at it from a different angle, but yeah. You have to think, Tim, it's quite a big rack for Pearce here now. He's in good position to take this rack. And it will put him on the hill. You feel if there's a mistake to be made now, and he lets Duong in with a good opportunity, then, you know, momentum and pressure could swing and mount.
Yeah, any mistake at this stage of the match is costly. I mean, as we are playing win or break, you know, Pearce makes one mistake. Now suddenly that break seems to be working for Wang. And before you know it, he actually takes the match 8-6, for example. Like, it's very possible. That's why Pearce is probably taking a bit more time at the table to make sure to get the job done.
Well, that 2 into the side pocket from the overhead looks like he's going to have to treat it with kid gloves. And I really wouldn't want that 2 to be my key ball. So he's going to have a crack at it now.
Yeah, should take it now. I mean, by only dropping it in, he's on the 6. Just played enough pace to where the cue ball doesn't really deviate, but he's missed that too. Wow. I mean, we know the side pockets play a bit tight, but I really wasn't expecting him to miss that 2 ball.
Let's have a look. Oh, overcut it. And yeah, do you know, I felt he could have taken that 2 in the previous shot. He was a lot closer to it. He did leave himself a lot of distance to travel. Great opportunity here now. And he's put himself straight away to take the 13 out, which will open up his ball just above it. Yeah, this is a nice pattern opening up for him here. He's finished plumb on this 15 into the top left corner. This is turning into a real nice matchup. I did think the way that Pearce came out the blocks, Tim, he was going to run away with it, especially with his break working, but well, and even if you were to look at the statistics as have come up on the screen now, 62 balls potted by Labutis versus Kwok's 39. But that really won't matter. It's the scoreline that matters. And this is the shot. Just making sure he's got good on the 10. Doesn't want to bring the 2 into play here. applause was not for Kwok's last shot. That will be coming from table 2. But if he makes this 9 and 8, guaranteed there's going to be an applause for him here. And that's worked out very nice for the Martian, Tim.
Yeah, closing in on the gap. 6-5 now, and it's now Labudis taking the time out. Trying to recover from that miss on the 2. The Martian will be breaking to tie the score at 6. I guess we're going to take a short break as well. We'll leave you with the stats, and we'll be right back with the remainder of this loser round 1 match. Who's going to stay alive? Công.Hạnh or PS Labudis? See you soon. Well, it was a very messy start as well. Now, would have been nice if he actually put himself on the 12. I'm not sure why he hasn't. Kind of forced into taking the 15 from this position. Can still play 15-12-9, of course, but does have the 14 on the left as a lonely soldier.
Yeah, he's just had a second look at that, Tim. There is quite a bit of traffic around these two. It does seem like the natural angles to run off one of them are covered by both the 1 and the 6. Can he come around the 1?
I mean, he's gonna put him very long and very far away from the 14 if he does. Always try to go 3 rails around the 7. His play this perfect.
That one gets a round of applause from the box as well. That was very nicely done. As you said, Tim, was going to be running away and long. But we did forget that there was a short rail up there to bring the cue ball back down. If played very well. Oh!
Did he still? Well, he's still on the 8. He's got us nervous, but it's fine. He's put himself on the hill.
Yeah. And maybe the timeout playing a little bit of a role in that as well, Tim, as we were chatting about earlier. Well, we just watched Dave Pearson rack up I just wanted to let our viewers know that following on from this match, we will be moving into the Women's Sabres Open, and we will have more round one matches kicking off for you. On this table, we will have Han Yu against Silviana Liu. And if you want to have a look at all of the fixtures, please do visit probilliardseries.com. I would recommend bookmarking it as well. You'll get links to all of the events taking place here in St. Louis, and also a link to the stats that you can see right now. And as you see, we're on Saturday. Women's Open will be coming up next, followed by the mixed doubles at 4:30 local time. And 4 more days of action to come. I have to say, the mixed doubles was very entertaining last night, Tim. Certainly one for our viewers to enjoy. Now, is Piers Labutis breaking for the match? He is.
Well, you cannot tell him he did not hit that square in the face. Cue ball coming straight back to his bridge hand. But a bit of a dull kind of spread if you look at how the ball's opened. I mean, not saying it was a bad rack, but you see the balls, they spread very nice, very calmly, but nothing really getting close to any pocket.
No, and that was a great shot to be able to see Labutis' follow through. The control he kept of that cue ball was sublime. However, that's only really going to benefit him if a ball is made off the break. And as it stands, the Martian back to the table with a very good look. Quite an open table. I can't really see any immediate clusters, Tim. And a good opportunity to start keeping this flame of hope alive for him in this match. I did just spot the 5 though, Tim. Not in a very friendly spot, or rather the 11 next to it isn't. But the blue 2 is close by. Might be able to use that to develop it. All of his balls down at this end of the table, Tim.
Yeah, no traveling, just short shapes. Just got to make sure he takes the 4 away early, though, to open up the corner for the 7, unless he's going to play the 7 long to the top right.
Yeah, it should be always have shape on the 1 if anything does misbehave here for him. Which you have to say it has, sort of. But still has the 1 and has opened the 5 up. So you have to say mission accomplished for the 5. Martian does keep his composure, Tim. Doesn't really give too much away visually. I think the only thing that may give it away, Tim, is just his shot rate. He just slows down a little bit, but I really don't blame him at this stage of the match.
Well, as I mentioned, any mistake is costly at this point. So, of course, he's going to think twice about every ball.
I like this, coming underneath the 5, playing it in the top left pocket past the 10 ball. And if he can finish straight on it, does not need to do much with the cue ball at all to hold for the 8 into the side pocket at the top of the screen as we're looking from the overhead. This is looking very promising.
Yeah, Labutis will have to pray from the chair, hoping for another opportunity to close it out. Because the Vietnamese is planning to make this a hill match. 7-6 needs one more break run, or actually needs 2 for the win. And I think it would be a very strong match from Wang if he still manages to win this. He's been down the whole set and now just trailing by 1.
Yeah, it would be, and it would make it for a great finale in this matchup. Both for us in the box and for our viewers. Maybe not so much for the players. I'm sure both of them would have preferred it to have gone a little bit cleaner. But Duong Quang Quang now has every opportunity with the break of bringing this match to a hill situation, and will get the break as well. So Labutis sitting there now just contemplating if and when he will get back to the table, because he will need to get back to the table to have any chance. Well, I do say that unless there's a scratch off the 8. We can't forget that. But very likely he'll need to come out of his chair. Now, Kwok, with not so much fortune from the break so far in this match, would be a great time to turn that around. A lot of power.
13. Yeah, has the legs.
And what has he been left with, Tim? We haven't seen many situations like this for the Vietnamese player. The Martian making that 13. Oh! Gravity, just thinking about it for a while before it took hold.
Yeah, first look at the table. I like the stripes. 5 balls blocked by the 8 in the bottom right, while the 15 very much is available, so doesn't really have to worry. He's got a wide open layout, just needs to get on the 12 ball early. Oh, did he?
Did he?
I don't think he's landed on the 12, and that means I'll have to try later on. As I mentioned, it would have been nice to get there early. Everything else is laying wide open.
God, this is a thin cut he would need to take on with the 9 as well. If he catches this thick and makes it, there's a good chance he's going to run into trouble, or maybe even push the 2 or the 1 over the 11. So how thin can he get this 9? Makes the 9. Oh, looks like he's avoided everything, Tim.
Yeah, excellent cue ball control. He's on the 12 now. Now, if he plays this to the center of the table, he's going to be on the 11 or the 15.
Yep, he's going to take the 15 out of the way. It looked like he played to come over for the 14. I don't think he needed to do that. Just needs to drop the 12 and pop back out a little bit higher than he is there. Oh, like that. Not too much. Doesn't want to be straight.
Oh, might have put himself straight. Now could still draw around the 7 if he's straight, but a bit more work than he would want to do, I would say.
Yeah, played that well. Thin cut on the 8 here. And this to take us to a hill thriller, which he's done, Tim. And I have to say, the way that Piers Labutis started off this match, he looked in absolutely formidable form. And even with not really the most success from the break, it's now got to this crucial point. Kwok making a break and run, holding the break. Labutis stuck in his chair. It's hill. He will have the break. And Tim, you'd have to say that puts him in prime position here.
Yeah, the only thing, and I've seen a couple hill matches so far in this World 8-Ball Championship, we could easily get some drama soon, because that break just delivers every single time.
Yeah. And, you know, if we're looking at the statistics there, 25% break success. We were discussing that's not going to be good enough to win you a championship, but in this loser's first round match, it could very well be enough. And making a ball off the break here now will increase that 25%, but more importantly, will give him every chance of taking this match and continuing in our World 8-Ball Men's Championships. Oh, that's the most animated I've seen the Martian yet. He made a ball.
Completely in the zone. But he did make one at this crucial time. This is to stay alive in the tournament.
Oh, he was living every ball there as he was making eye contact with it. He studied it. I mean, they're both looking pretty good to all intensive purposes. It looks like he's eyeing up the 6. So going solids. But as you can see from the overhead, there's not really much in the way of either of them. You could argue that the 1 ball is covering the side pocket, but he's given himself every opportunity here, Tim. And if Labutis doesn't get out of his chair, what a turnaround in this match. And if there was any war wounds that Kwok has from his well, I was going to say from his 7-8 defeat to Justin Bergman, he's not showing it. His resilience is second to none.
Yeah, I think he was kind of playing a shape on the 1 ball. Nothing to worry about still, though. I mean, he's still got time to land on the 1. But I think if he landed on the 1 ball, the 3, 5, and the 2 are open and near the 8, so would have been nice to land on it, but should be okay to play the 1 later on. Maybe 3, 5, leave himself a bit of angle on the 1 to move over to the 2. Things looking ominous for Labutis from the chair.
This is the shot now to get good position on the blue 2, to get shape on the 8. And from what could have been trailing 5 racks to 1, just a fall. I was going to say just a fall out of position for Piers Labutis, and it changed the whole shape of this match. He's thin on this 2, Tim.
Yeah, I cannot even imagine how he got on the 2 ball playing that line. Well, he still gets it done, but that definitely made him sweat. That got him sweaty, that's for sure. Fortunately, this World 8-Ball Championship is over for Labutis.
It is, and a shake of the hand from both players and a pat on the back. I think Martian